Hello and welcome to this edition of Talk Vietnam. You've just seen a piece from the Brigham Young University Ballroom Dance Company. Now they're here on tour in Southeast Asia and they made their stop here in Hanoi at the Bao Sơn Paradise Park. They received basically rounds of applause from the audiences here, capturing both their hearts and minds. We're very lucky enough to have them in Talk Vietnam today to talk about their passion for dancing, as well as how their group has come to build such a name. So how are you guys today? I mean, after that performance, the 90-minute performance, are you tired?
I was tired immediately after. Yeah, it was our last show on this tour, and so we put all our energy into it and just gave the crowd the best we could. So right after, I was way tired.
I think I felt it more Sunday morning when we were getting up early to go do some things, and when I woke up I realized, oh my goodness, my body hurts so bad, I'm so tired. But it was such a fun show. I loved every moment of it.
So Linda, in your remarks right before the show at Bao Sơn Paradise Park, you said this is your last leg of the tour here in Vietnam, and Vietnam would remain very unforgettable to you guys.
I think we captured in our hearts the people, the feeling that was in the audience as they performed. It was just overwhelming, just their reactions, and being out in the crowds afterwards, after the show. I think mingling with the people was one of the highlights of the tour for the students. Especially, they love to dance, but they love to meet people and see the joy that they get from watching them perform. Mm-hmm. So definitely, they captured our hearts too.
And as I understand, this is the first time for most of the people in the dance company to have come to Vietnam. So what were some of the first impressions of the country?
Well, our first stop was in Ho Chi Minh City. First impression was related to the traffic, because there were so many motorcycles, so many, and they come so close to our bus. So it was exciting. It was a new experience.
How about you guys? What were some of the first things you saw that kind of stuck to mind?
I think that traffic was a big thing for me. We were all like recording it with our cameras, like all the people who were able to like cross the street without getting hit at all, or it was amazing.
And the hospitality of the people, and just, our first meal really was just like this 8-course meal of all these amazing foods that I could tell were well prepared, and actually even had little sculptures almost of animals and stuff carved out of vegetables, and it was just amazing, the presentation, the hospitality of the people.
In terms of the tour here in Vietnam, what were some of the kind of memorable things that stuck to mind until now?
The energy throughout every number, just their clapping and their reaction to us, and even the chatter about, oh, did you see this? I could just tell that they were excited and engaged in what we were doing.
I remember one part when we were actually dancing, and it was very quiet, and I could hear everyone talking, and it was the first time that I had like ever actually heard an audience talk while we were dancing, and it was like, well, I hope they're talking about our dancing and how good it is, because we're really putting on a show. But it was really cool to feel like the energy of the audience, and then to be able to try and match that energy to help them enjoy our show. It was really great.
Exactly. Wow. Well, here in Hanoi, the tour here, the performance here in Hanoi of the BYU Ballroom Dance Company wrapped up their Southeast Asian tour, as we said. And now we'll take a look a little bit at the atmosphere at this performance, which was named Capture the Magic.
Sways of dresses bouncing to the ever-captivating tunes of the Viennese waltz. The 50-member crew of the Brigham Young University Ballroom Dance Company dazzles some 200 audiences at the Bao Son Paradise Park in Hanoi, their last stop in Vietnam.
Mình là một người rất là may mắn khi được tham dự xem chương trình này. Chương trình được tổ chức rất là công phu. Các vũ công qua thể hiện chắc chắn là đã qua một cái quá trình tập luyện rất là công phu và có trình độ kỹ thuật rất là tốt, và tôi hy vọng là trong tương lai sự hợp tác giữa Việt Nam và Mỹ và các nhà tổ chức sẽ tổ chức được nhiều cái chương trình hơn như thế này nữa cho chúng tôi được xem.
The show continued on to capture the audiences with its charm, just as its name, Capture the Magic, implies. In a show of color splashes across the stage, the crew adds a hint of Broadway to their dance melange in Hairspray, and then a pinch of comical fun as well in a creative freestyle piece dedicated to Nintendo.
Là một khán giả thì tôi cảm thấy rất là hạnh phúc, bởi vì là các vũ công đến từ Mỹ đã trình diễn rất là chuyên nghiệp và nhiệt tình và mang rất là nhiều sắc thái của các điệu nhảy, không chỉ trong các điệu nhảy ballroom dancing và nhiều điệu nhảy truyền thống và nhiều điệu nhảy phổ thông ở Mỹ đến cho khán giả của Việt Nam. Và chúng tôi là những người trong ngành khiêu vũ, chúng tôi cảm thấy rất là yêu thích và trân trọng điều đó.
This performance is the last leg of the Asia tour this year for the crew, but definitely not the least in the excitement of the audience reception. For the dancers, this has made being on stage even more thrilling and worthwhile.
It was unbelievable. They were never quiet, so it made us really excited to dance. We just had a blast.
It makes us so happy to have such a great audience who responds and claps and ooh and oh, you know. This it makes the dance experience even more precious.
In a show that incorporated everything from what audiences would expect of standard ballroom dancing to Broadway musical to simply creativity at its best, the Brigham Young University Ballroom Dance crew has left long-lasting impressions on the audiences here in Hanoi.
Now, let me move to you, Lee and Linda. Can you talk a little bit about the development of the group? It's quite a long-standing group, right?
Mm-hmm, it is.
It is. The dance company is actually in its 51st year, so it was started in 1960. Obviously, it has grown over the years. When it first started, it was a grand total of 4 couples, 8 dancers. We now have about 160 dancers in our program, and then we take our top 32 on our tours. So we've obviously developed over the years, but it's been a very fun thing for us to see that development as we've been there.
Mm-hmm. And now the original 4 couples you said, they were students within BYU?
Yes, they were. The dance company has always been part of the university, and we've always been part of the curriculum, actually, even.
Mm-hmm. For dance majors?
For dance majors and non-dance majors.
Now, they're mostly students in this group, so how is the recruitment or the audition process carried out? You have 160 dancers in all, and then you take the top 32 out on tour, so the audition must be quite rigorous.
We do. We have auditions every semester, at the beginning of the semester, but we teach at the university. We have many classes in ballroom dance, and we teach about 5,000 students every year. So we have several hundred that audition every semester, and we place students into our program where they start to learn how to do formation work, and they work on their dancing. Then they work up from there.
Mm-hmm. In terms of for you, Brent and Amy, how do you fit in all this very intensive training, I'm sure, into your schedule? Tell us a little bit about the training process.
Yeah, it is a lot of time, and it kind of grows over. So for example, like me, I never danced before college, and so I just started with these beginning classes, kind of like Lee mentioned, where there's 5,000 students taking these classes, and then just over different semesters, I maybe would take 2 or 3 classes, and then just take more and more, and then we start doing other things like taking personal training lessons, and in the end, we may spend somewhere between 8 and 20 hours a week dancing on top of our full-time schedule of classes.
Do you ever find at a point where you're finding it really hard to balance between studying and working and dancing and traveling across the United States, traveling to the world, basically?
There's a couple times that are really difficult usually, and like Linda said, we usually have a stateside smaller tour, and that's during the middle of the semester in the fall. And that's usually a time that's really hard for all of us because we're gone for 10 days of class and trying to keep up on our homework while performing and traveling every day of that tour. And then usually towards the end of the year, we have our big concert that the ballroom company puts on and has 10,000 people come and watch. And that's also a difficult time because we're performing almost every night that week.
It's totally weird, and you have all these people who's on the team who's also in the same situation as you, so that's good.
We all kind of just do it together.
Exactly. So how long have you guys been in the team?
Well, I started 6 years ago on one of the beginning teams. Like Lee said, there's 160 dancers, and so there are some lower teams, kind of like the junior varsity. Mm-hmm. And so I started on that for 2 years and then worked my way up, and I've been on this touring company for 3 years.
For me, I actually started dancing way before I reached college, so my goal was actually to be on this team since I was super little. So I have been dancing, and then when I was a freshman in college, I tried out to be on the company that's right below this, which is called the Backup Touring Team Company. And I actually got on, and so I've been on the team for 4 years, but I've been on the touring team for 3 years. Me and Brent were actually on the backup company at the same time.
Mm-hmm. To you, Lee and Linda, in terms of the dancers who you seek out to be on in the company itself, what are some of the skills or the kind of qualities that they must have? I mean, in searching out such a rigorous process, as we know.
Well, that's a loaded question. First of all, we are looking for people that are capable of dancing and performing. And sometimes you can dance for fun, like the 5,000 we've mentioned. They come because they just enjoy it socially. But when you're on a performing company, we're looking for those students who have skills and are able to develop their dancing and keep continuing to improve. So that's definitely high on the radar. we also are looking for students that are very serious about their studies. We want them to be there to get a good education and not just dance, because dancing can be very addicting, and sometimes they're out of balance because that's all they do. So, and the university feels it's important for them to maintain their studies and a good grade point average. And then also we're very mindful of their personal lives and that they're representing our church the way they should, because our university is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is a private institution. And we want them to live their values and not just, know their values, but it needs to become a part of them. And this special aura that they have is because these kids are very good. They're very disciplined in all the ways that we want them to be. So, do you want to add to that?
That was great. Maybe one other thing that they have to do, another skill. You had asked about what skills. When you're part of a team, it's very important that you are a team player. Exactly. And so we have to find students that are not only very good in their dancing and do well academically, but also have the ability to work with other people and to blend.
Exactly. It's not about just shining for yourself on stage, isn't it? Now for you, Brent and Amy, what do you think keeps you attached and devoted to your dance company for so long? I mean, you've been for 6 years, 4 years.
I think for me, I've loved the people on the company. I think I've gained probably the strongest relationships I've ever gained on this company with the people. And it's been so fun to be in a situation where I can work with them and we can work problems out and situations, and we can grow in the same ways through the same kinds of experiences. And being with people who love what I love to do just kind of also creates an environment that I love to be in.
Exactly. Teamwork, as you said.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that, I mean, mainly the performing, just that energy to be able to share with people what we love, and performing for thousands of people is just exhilarating for me. And another big thing that keeps me here is just, like Lee said, being part of a team. Mm-hmm. And the fact that this company's been around for 50 years and will be around for another 150 or beyond makes it exciting to be part of something that's way bigger than you.
Come on, feet. Don't fail me now. Feet, don't fail me now. You do that. But I just can't lose
Now let's talk a little bit about the show itself. It's Capture the Magic. Is this a popular show that you guys do in your worldwide tour?
The title Capture the Magic is one that we feel can include many aspects of dance. And so instead of calling it a specific name or a certain dance, we've used Capture the Magic. And we think there are some magical moments in the show. We have the traditional dances that are ballroom dances, the waltz, the tango, the cha-cha, the rumba, those kinds of dances. We also have, though, some unique American dances. Some of the swings that we do, the Lindy and the West Coast swing, are unique to our country and represent what we do and hopefully do well. And then we have a few fun things that are specifically designed for the audience and for the young children in the audience, where they can have an exciting experience.
Exactly, and then it will change to still have a part, like next year we'll still have a part of this year's Capture the Magic,
that's right.
with new additional parts. Which
New magic.
It makes it, I'd love to see it again. In terms of the show, the different pieces in the show, what were some of the pieces that took the most time and labor in order to kind of choreograph and also get the dancers to get used to the choreography?
Definitely the last two. The medleys, because they're 6 minutes long, and they incorporate 5 dances each. And so that's a lot of style, a lot of different rhythms to coordinate and become precise with together as a group. So I would say, don't you think?
Yes.
Medleys.
We emphasize those because by doing well in those 2 dances, our whole program is better and our students are better, because that's the focus when we compete. Both Amy and Brent last year were in those when we competed internationally in England and won both of our events. But we added up at the end, and I think it was 180 hours on each of those dances that we had spent with choreography. So that's way more than we normally do. But we try to pay attention to every detail in those 2 dances. And that's the foundation that we build off of.
In terms of art, what do you guys think make your art troupe, your dance troupe, special, stand apart from other dance troupes, other ballroom dance troupes?
One thing that is unique about this group is that they're all students. They're university students. When you watch the show, you might not believe that they're amateurs, that they're not professionals, because of the quality of what you see. But there is a uniqueness because they're university students.
Now, BYU is a private university, as you said. There isn't really a similar model here in Vietnam where a university runs a dance company. Could you tell us a little bit about how it works?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think our church believes in everything that is wholesome, good, and that is for the betterment of the person. And so they've been very, very supportive of everything we do. And I think they want to see these young students have experiences through dance companies such as ours. So they're 100% behind us. And I'm not sure if that's answering your question, but we've never felt the lack of support. We've always felt just the opposite. Do what you can to make this the very best program possible. And so they've just always been extremely supportive.
Dancing is part of our culture. Our church originated in the 1800s, and our people moved from the eastern part of America over to the western part of America by hand carts, by covered wagons. They walked, they rode horses, they moved to the west. And in the evenings when they had made their camps, they would dance often. We, as a people, we have danced always. So dancing is considered wonderful. It's considered appropriate. It's considered helpful to the individual, and that it can build us socially. And I think that's part of our culture,
So now, Linda, can you tell us a little bit about, you guys made many tours in the world. How many countries have you been to?
Well, now that we've been in Vietnam, it's 37, is that right?
38.
38. Because this is our first time ever in Vietnam.
Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the titles and honors? I've heard you guys have 18 international titles.
Well, let's
Is that
see.
right?
The dance company has actually, we have 21 international titles over the years that we've won. We also compete in the United States Championship, the national championship, each year. And that began in, I think, 1983. And so we've been the national champions every year. We've been undefeated since it began.
Championship formation dancing, breathtaking lifts and spins, all performed in a seemingly endless stream of shimmering costumes. No one seems to do it better than the BYU Ballroom Dance Company, a part of the Brigham Young University for over 50 years now. They are the first Americans ever to win the prestigious British Formation Championships, a feat they have repeated an unprecedented 11 times. The BYU Ballroom Dance Company is the current United States National Formation Dance Champion, a title the team has won almost 30 consecutive times, dating back to 1992. The ensemble is known worldwide for its exciting and energetic performances. Their 90-minute showcase, Capture the Magic, features a wide variety of dances, ranging from the Viennese waltz to West Coast swing, and including also solo, small group, and full company numbers, which delights and entertains audiences of all ages. The Ballroom Dance Company has so far performed in 31 states in America and in 38 foreign countries.
What do you think, in general, is the key to success? This is for all of you. The key to success for the company. How do you keep it all together?
Well,
A lot of work, I'm sure.
Well, it is a lot of work, and last night we gathered all the students together to just kind of say one more thank you to each other, because this is a family, in a sense. We have our moments where we're not so happy with each other, and other moments where we want to just be with each other. But these students have worked hard. This has been a long journey for them, in the sense that we started clear back in August with getting ready for this particular show. And they put in everything that they could possibly give us. One of the biggest reasons that we have success on our team is the unity that we feel that we all have the same common goal. And I think also we believe in the same things, we want the same things, and so there's not been any rippling, if you will, in the waters. It's just been one forward, stream ahead, and so I think that that's really been helpful. It builds everybody together as a greater unit.
Throughout your 3 years of being in the dance company, obviously many memories, many stories. If you can name one that really sticks to mind that you would remember, years from now.
I'm sad to say that this tour has probably been one of my most memorable. Not that to, not say that the other tours weren't as great, but this has been my favorite tour. And one of my favorite memories, I think, is the markets and bartering, because I've never bartered before. And so it's been really fun to say a price, and then they go down or they go up, and trying to figure out all that, because I'm super shy and that's just not something that I'm used to. We don't have that a whole ton in the United States.
Mm-hmm. How about on stage? Any kind of blooper backstage that we should know about?
Oh, there always is. Whether it's not in this tour, but when I can't remember where we were performing, but the first time we did our samba number, my zipper broke. And I had, I think, maybe like 3 minutes to get changed. And so we were in the back and trying to fix the zipper, and I said, oh, let's get safety pins. So people were safety pinning my zipper, and it was so crazy, but I was on time, and it was totally fine, but it was just madness. Like, everyone was handing safety pins, and I was just breathing because I was trying to just stay calm and not freak out.
Now, in terms of ballroom dancing, for many people, here in Vietnam, I could say, ballroom dancing is not something that might be appealing to them. But you guys have basically restructured ballroom dancing and still keeping the classic part of it, but kind of reforming it in a new way. What would you say to those people out there who have, reservations or, not a great tendency in order to go out there and try out ballroom dancing or watch ballroom dancing?
You never know how fun it can be until you try it. And sometimes in some cultures, maybe in Vietnam, we've detected that there's some shyness, or people are somewhat reserved, but only for a little bit of time.
Tell them about when we taught the people in Da Nang.
Oh, did you?
Or what was it? Not Da Nang. It might have been Ho Chi Minh City. When we went to the
we met with some members of our church, and we did a couple of dances for them, and then we taught them.
Brent taught them.
Brent taught them. And they were so shy. They were just, they didn't want to do it. But they did want to do it, but they just had to they just had to jump over, and then they had a great time.
Oh my gosh, they were Brent could hardly even talk. It was so noisy, but they were having such a great time. But we literally had to pull the girls off the side to dance, and
to get them started.
In terms of ballroom dancing in the United States, how popular is it?
It has really become one of the most popular forms of dance in America. It didn't always used to be that way, but I mentioned Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. It's always been in the movies, in their style of dance, but now with some of the programs that we have on TV, like Dancing with the Stars or So You Think You Can Dance, and I think there's another one. They've incorporated ballroom dance in it, and people can see that it really is a true form of art, and it's also very athletic, so hence the name dance sport, which typically is about competition, but I think people really do appreciate now in America ballroom dancing because it's been out there and exposed in that way in the media.
Skip to the bip, my darling. Oh, you look so pretty there. Keep on skipping and keep on bipping. Everybody just step in time.
Three and four.
Skip to the bit, let your backbone slip. Take a little trip. When you skip to the bit, don't be so hip. Take this little tip, let your spirit rip. When you skip to the bit. To the bit.
That's right, skip it, son.
hip. Take this little tip. Let your spirit rip when you skip to the bit.
Have you got any idea about kind of the development of ballroom dancing here in Vietnam? Have you been able to meet with some of the people in the field here?
No,
we actually
really.
have not, and we're somewhat aware that there's dance sport that is going on. We've seen a few things.
Yeah, we saw some signs.
We've seen some
traveling.
signs as we've traveled around. Internationally, occasionally we'll come across a couple from Vietnam, but we're not aware that internationally it's a big part of the competitive scene at the moment.
It would be nice, though, to incorporate social dancing here in Vietnam, because that's where we start at BYU with kids that don't know any dance, and it's a social event. And I think that's why it's so popular, because the girls can meet the guys and the guys can meet the girls, and a lot of marriages come out of that.
Yes, exactly. And if you think about it, I mean, dancing, ballroom dancing used to be such a big part of the social life, I mean, at least in Western Europe and also in the United States. So it would be great to have that, something like that here in Vietnam, here in Asia. In terms of the, there are many young kind of the dancers here in Vietnam, very young children, you know, who are already really good at ballroom dancing, and they were there at the stage watching you guys and bringing flowers at the end. What advice would you give to those kids aspiring to kind of follow the path of practicing ballroom dancing?
Work hard, follow your dream, and you never know where it will take you.
I would say to remember why you started, and that it was most likely because it was fun. And because as you move on, you get more into the competitive nature of dancing, you know, there's disappointments, and it can be hard. You might not reach the status that you think you could, and so if you always remember, like, I started because this was a lot of fun.
I think, especially when you're younger, you look at people who, like, say me, for example, someone looking at me and being like, they're so good, they're so accomplished in a sense, but what they don't see is the years of not making a final, the years of not really reaching where you want it to be. But instead of being discouraged, just saying, I'm just going to keep going, I'm going to keep working, and I'm going to keep following what I want to do. And I think the most important thing is to just not be too hard on yourself. And if you don't get something or a step right, or you maybe don't get the results that you want at, say, a competition or so, to keep going, because it's worth it, and you'll get there. Eventually, you'll get there if you just keep trying.
Do you think Vietnam will be your stop again?
I would love for it to be.
We have a good fit, we feel, with Asia, and we've discovered Vietnam on this trip, so we would like to come back. It would be 3 years or longer. We felt a great warmness and a wonderful reception from the people here, and it's been so rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your wonderful show to our country. What about you guys? Are you looking to come back to Vietnam, either as a part of the dancing group or on vacation?
For sure. I mean, I would love to keep traveling throughout my life, and Southeast Asia and Vietnam would be on the list.
I think it would be really beneficial to come and see the people again, and be able to see more about their culture and their history, and the things that we've only just a little bit experienced here.
Well, thank you very much for being here on our show, Talk Vietnam, sharing with us your passion for dancing, your wonderful memories in traveling the world, traveling the United States with the BYU Ballroom Dancing Company. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And all the best endeavors for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that was our talk with the Brigham Young University Dance Company, the Ballroom Dance Company. And before we wrap up now, let's have a look at another performance from them.